Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well. So I just watched Without Remorse. Let's talk about it. So Without Remorse is directed by Stefano Sollima, and it's also produced and stars Michael B. Jordan. It was also co-written by Taylor Sheridan, who also wrote Wind River and Hell or High Water. And I mention all of this to say that considering the talent involved in this project, we really should have gotten better. We really should have gotten better. I can't believe that the final product of this film turned out to be so mediocre, so bog standard for an action flick. I really expected more, especially with the trailer as well, which really highlighted some of the high points of the action sequences of this film. I really did expect more from it, but in the end what we got was quite bog standard, quite middle of the road. This is going to be a relatively short review because there's not much else to say. What more can be said on this film? But before we even dive into my thoughts as it stands, as per usual, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and make sure you turn on your notifications so that you can be told when I upload next. Now, without further ado, let's just wrap this one up. Firstly, I was going to start off this review with some sort of snide remark about how the only remorse that I have was the time that I wasted watching this. And I can still do that, I've still said it, and I do mean that. But at the same time, I did want to start off this review by saying, look, it is perfectly fine for a black actor, for black filmmakers to be involved in mediocrity. Now, some of you guys might be saying they've already been doing that, but I think when it comes to an actor like Michael B. Jordan, as I said, when you hear he's involved in a project like this, I had these high expectations for what this could be. I was like, oh my god, is this like a Creed but within the action genre? What could this possibly be? I was expecting, something pretty great, something pretty groundbreaking, and in the end it ended up being quite middle of the road and just something that we would see, in any other Tom Clancy project except with a black protagonist, which is a big deal, but still it very much fell short of my expectations. But ultimately that's okay. Ultimately it's okay for Michael B. Jordan to experiment with this kind of Bruce Willis, Liam Neeson stunt that is this film essentially. It's okay for him to be in a film like this. I just want to put that out there. But speaking of Michael B. Jordan himself, the man at the end of the day doesn't know how to do a bad job, okay? The project around him might be awful, might be substandard, whatever he's in, but the man himself doesn't know how to do a bad job. So of course he was great. Of course he was very convincing and compelling as this character of John Kelly, I believe his name is, some generic white man name. Of course he managed to pull the role off, and he certainly managed to pull off the action sequences as well. We'll talk about that in a second. I would say, Michael B. Jordan is always going to be doing the Michael B. Jordaning. He's always going to be doing the actoring. He portrays pain and suffering and determination very, very well, and that's something that very much plays to his advantage for this role. He displays that very, very well in this role. So yeah, I had high expectations for what he could offer to this project, and he very much delivered on his end. It's just the project that surrounds him that kind of lets him down. I also wanted to make mention of Jodie Turner-Smith's character. I believe her name is Karen Greer, another incredibly white name for a black actress portraying this character. But I thought she was also quite excellent. Okay, I'm always on the lookout for a black female character in genres where they are grossly underrepresented, and here I did find myself very much enjoying the character of Karen. Her name's Karen, of all names. I very much enjoyed the character of Karen. I liked the camaraderie that she had with John. I liked the fact that there was this kind of unspoken history between them, and she kind of understood him and could anticipate his next moves. I like how she was great as a leader. She very much stood up for her team, especially when they were talking mess about her team right in front of her, and she was like, hold up, what's going on here? I very much enjoyed the character overall, and also seeing, how she she also is going through her own struggle and being underestimated by the establishment. That's something that they touched on quite briefly and quite surface level, but still it was present, which I enjoyed. So yeah, I very much enjoyed Jodie Turner-Smith's performance and portrayal of this character. She was also very convincing in these action sequences. Like she was doing the thing, is what I'm saying. And I will say, to the film's credit, that there are definitely elements of the film that were noticeably trying to be better, trying to really stand out from the crowd when it comes to the sea, the ocean of action films, literally exactly like this, even by Tom Clancy himself. Okay, it really did try to stand out. For example, when it comes to the action sequences, I thought that action sequence with the burning car, and when Michael B. Jordan goes into the burning car to interrogate that man, like that was just mwah, like that was just absolutely excellent. It's something that we'd never seen before, and it's something that he again carried out really well because of that kind of burning kind of anger that he's able to portray really, really well. I enjoyed the fact that several times throughout this film there were action sequences that tried to think outside of the box, that tried to be a little bit more different than the status quo that we've seen time and time again, and I appreciated that element of the film. The only problem is that was pretty much the only element of the film that was outside of the box, because everything else, like I said, was bog standard, starting with, of course, the story, the plot. Like the plot is just so generic. We've seen it time and time again. And also, I have to say, just a public service announcement right here in this review, okay? Society has progressed past the need for fridging. Society has progressed past the need for fridging. Now you might be wondering, Jean, what are you talking about? Well, fridging, or to be fridged, is, I believe, like a comic book term where basically almost always a female love interest gets killed off, you know, early on in a story in order to act as motivation for the male protagonist to basically get revenge for her death. Now, as I explain this, you're nodding your head like, oh, that. Yeah, that. That I'm tired of seeing that in like every single action film. Sometimes it's the wife, girlfriend, sometimes it's the daughter. Like it's usually oftentimes a female character that the male protagonist has a like close connection to. And I'm just tired. Like I'm sick and tired of it. And that's yet another reason why I appreciated Jodie Turner-Smith's character in this film, because oftentimes female characters in this genre are just relegated to being fridged, like to be a motivation for the male protagonist to get their revenge so that the plot can move forward, and they don't really do much else. So that's why I enjoyed the fact that she was a key player in this story. But that doesn't mean that that storyline wasn't present. Like it still was, because of course the assassins, the bad guys, ended up killing off Michael B. Jordan's wife at the very beginning, and of course she was pregnant, because that adds extra brownie points, right? Like extra tears for the fact that she was pregnant. Can we stop? Can we just stop? No more. Like I said, society has progressed past the need for killing off female characters like this in the most brutal way just to act as motivation for male characters. Society has progressed past this, and certainly pregnant women, leave pregnant women alone. I'm tired. Leave pregnant women alone right now. We can do better. And then at the very end, we do get this kind of Nick Fury moment where John something, like he has a new surname now. By the way, I can't believe his new alias is still John. Like it's still John something. And they try to play it off as like, haha, the CIA isn't exactly known for being creative, but like literally any other first name could have done. Like literally any other first name, whatever. But yeah, he's still called John something, and he meets up with his Q friend, who's portrayed by Jamie Bell, in Washington, DC. Washington, DC. What, of all the places that you want to meet up when you're incognito, when you're in hiding, when you're going rogue, you want to meet up in Washington, DC, one of the most surveilled places on the planet. How does that make any goddamn sense? Anyway, he meets up with Jamie Bell and he's like, I'm assembling a team and they're going to be called the Rainbow, or just Rainbow something. They don't know that it's going to be called the Rainbow Six yet. Now that's in reference to some game or some Tom Clancy thing, whatever. You know, that's cute, I guess. But my problem with that scene is like Jamie Bell is like, oh my God, you're back, John? Like, oh my God, you're back. And I'm like, he wasn't gone for very long. He wasn't gone for very, like, the whole film was about him, and then he like leaves for like 2 seconds, and then some of the credits come up, and then I think it's like a mid-credits scene where he's back. Like, he wasn't, where did he go? He wasn't gone for very long. What do you mean you're back, John? But with all of that being said, I'm going to be giving Without Remorse a 5.5 out of 10. So that's it from me. Now that I told you guys my thoughts on Without Remorse, it's time for you guys to let me know what you thought of this film down in the comments below. Please be sure to subscribe to catch new videos coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!